Good deal? Okay. Hi guys, I'm Rachel Thiesfeld, and my presentation is on the gender gap, and I'm exploring, are women really being paid unequally? So first off, what is the gender gap? Well, it's the differences between what men and women make in the same industry, and women make almost 80% of what men make, so it's about 77 cents on the dollar. But this is variable throughout industries. As you can see, like financial activities, they make about 71%, but over in construction, it's about 92%. And so many argue that men and women's pay is unequal, but however, that's not necessarily the case when you look at why women are making less. So I'll start by saying, what is equality? Equality is defined as a job that requires equal skill, effort, and responsibility, and which are performed under similar working conditions. So for example, you wouldn't pay a dental hygienist the same as a dentist because they are different jobs. So some reasons for the gender pay gap. Women generally spend less time in the workplace, and this is because they take time off to raise kids and spend time with their family, whereas men often increase their time in the workplace when they have children, possibly to make up for the differences. And that leads to women having less experience and less skills when they re-enter the workforce. So also, men choose higher paying jobs than women. There's more men as like CEOs and doctors and lawyers, and more women doing like nursing, secretary, and childcare work. Also, men work longer hours and more overtime than women do. And this all goes back to the equal job thing, and how this doesn't necessarily mean that there's an inequality, because it takes the same skill, effort, and responsibility to have an equal job. And with these things, women aren't necessarily being paid unequal. So there's also the law, which kind of throws out the inequality thing, the Equal Pay Act of 1963. You can read through that. I'm not going to say it because it's really long and really tricky, but what it basically says is it's unlawful for companies to discriminate against women or men. So to have an equal job, you have to pay your employees equally, otherwise that's against the law. So there also is a little bit of inequality going on within industries, and I looked at this, and why this happens is men are more than 4 times more likely than women to negotiate a salary, and women generally don't speak up as much as men. So if a woman was getting paid, let's say, $50,000 a year, and a man was getting paid $55,000, it's probably because when he was offered the job, he like haggled with the guy when he was getting his job to say, you know, I want to make this, whereas the woman would have said, sure, I'll take that. So what does this all mean? Much of the differences in wages are because of differences in occupation, skills, and experience, not because of discrimination. And for the most part, men and women aren't being paid unequally, and the inequalities are happening because women are less likely to speak up and haggle for the wages. And so my mediation is basically that it seems like there's an inequality going on, but that's not necessarily the case. And also, women should speak up more in the workplace and be more upfront about the wages that they think they deserve. Any questions? Yep.
How do they come about the statistic that like women are paid 80% of what women make? Do they look at like the same field? Or
yeah,
is it
so
overall?
basically they take like industries like construction and I don't know what the other ones were, I can't remember, but they say like women's average wage salary is this, and then men's average wage salary is this in the same field, and women's is like about 80% of men's. Does that make sense?
Yeah, do they take into account like experience, time worked, or?
Yeah, well, that's what I was talking about, is that's what they don't take into account.
Okay.
And those are the reasons for the differences in the wages.
Okay.
So it seems like there's a lot of variables that go into why it's unequal, but then the
Yeah.
overall statistics, of course, it seems like, oh wow, look at this, it's only 80%.
Right, so when you just hear that women make 80% of what men make, it seems like, well, that's obviously an inequality. But when you look at why it is, it's that women have less experience, and they're taking time off, and they don't work as much, and they also don't enter higher paying jobs, so. Any other questions? No? Okay, then that's it.